it? I'm forgetting everything about coal mining right now. But coal mining is a lot more dangerous than what we face with quartz mining. Quartz mining, the major concern is breathing in the silica dust that comes along with the quartz mining. That causes basically severe lung problems. It's really painful, and there have been several older generations that have died pretty painful deaths because of the breathing in the silica dust over a long-term period. Besides, I'm trying to think of the other dangers. I know that there have been several deaths due to landslides. So I think improper mining techniques, kind of the loose gravel that comes along with it. There's no firm ground where they're scooping out, so there's been a lot of truck turnovers. So those kind of hazards go along with it as well. And also handling the chemicals, like I said, they do have a lot of well-trained people that are working there, but for the most part, the people that I talked with who work there, they have absolutely no background in chemistry, biology. Most of them, I think, had kind of agricultural degrees from NC State, so they didn't have any background in mining, and they were just kind of thrown into the position. So I think there is a lot of risk, health-wise and safety-wise, that go along with mining because of those factors. But yeah, breathing in the silica dust is definitely the worst part of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these workers, they go to work with the fear of, being told that they're going on vacation because there's nothing to do, and so they're going on vacation without pay. And so I think the mental stress that comes along with it of not having job security is another factor as well.
Oh, do they get laid off really, easily, or is just...
Yeah, well, there's, I'm trying to think, I spoke recently with a woman at a local farmer's market, and her husband came with her, and they were selling donuts, and he told me that they were selling donuts because he got laid off for the third time, Uniman. So I was like, well, are they going to be calling you back anytime soon? Have they given you a date? And he said, I don't know. Like, the last time I waited a year until they called me back in. So I don't know any of the legalities of the contracts they sign when they go in for those jobs. I've heard that it's pretty tight-lipped as far as what they're able to disclose. Even when I was calling Uniman, I just wanted to find out how many employees they had. I had to go through at least 2 lawyers, and they were screening who I was, and just to find out how many employees they had. So it is easy, I think, to be laid off and called back on again because there aren't a lot of other job options in the area. So they are able to kind of toy with their employees like that.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really sad. I mean, they're having to sell donuts to kind of get by.
Wow.
I think he answered all of
them. Wait, do they get paid a lot? I mean, yeah. Like
the workers?
Yeah, the workers.
Or is it just barely to get by? Or is the workers, do they get paid enough to survive, or do they pay minimum wage?
They do. I mean, it's one of the higher paying jobs to have in the area. But that's one thing I couldn't find out after trying to call Uniman and not being able to get information. But I think depending on how many years that you're with them, you can make up to $50,000. Starting out, you'd probably make $25,000 to $30,000. I did hear of several new employees that they had added on. I think it was probably 10 employees that they brought on after they did the big layoff. And I heard that they were required in their contracts, and this is just hearsay from neighbors, but they were required to work, I think it was 40 days straight without any time off during those 40 days. So they were usually doing late night shifts during that time as well. So I think, just by what I hear, I don't know if the pay is worth it from the kind of schedule that they have and the insecurity that they have with their job.
Yeah.
So, but it is, if you're going to work in Mitchell County, and like I said, if you're not at the prison or if you're not in the school system, then it's your best option.
Mm-hmm. Was it hard writing your thesis, getting information from such tight-lipped companies? Was it?
Yeah, it was incredibly difficult, and I had to do a lot of digging at Register of Deeds, mostly trying to track who owned the mineral rights originally, and also trying to research tax information because I definitely did not know anything about tax law. But I found out that the only taxes that these companies pay to the county are property taxes. And when I was looking, I think they paid, I don't even know how, but in the records it stated that they paid, I think, $5,000 to the county for, being able to export, multi-million-dollar commodity.
Yeah.
So digging through, and it was kind of wherever I went, I'd run into someone who had formerly worked there or who had family working there. So I had to be really kind of careful, with what I talked about or what I asked. I would say that the Mineral Museum, which is, I think, under the state park system in North Carolina, they were incredibly helpful. They probably gave me the most information, more than Uniman or Feldspar, that other major mining company, could give me. And mostly just trying to read the newspaper, local newspaper. I try to go through their archives a lot. I drove up to Appalachian State University, which is in Boone, where App Voices is. And they have a huge collection of resources. And so that kind of saved my paper, and also doing one-on-one interviews with locals. There's an organization called the Toe River Valley Watch, and it's a group of local volunteers, and they pretty much scan the local streams, creeks, and river to make sure that there's not being too much sediment from the mining being deposited into the rivers. And when they do find any kind of evidence that there's been a lot of dumping going on, they'll contact Environmental Protection Agency, or they'll, send a letter of warning to the company and those kind of things. So I got to talk to their volunteers a lot, and I had tried to talk to a local doctor. I was trying to find potential patients who'd be willing to share information. But that kind of led to a dead end because I would say people who live in the mountains here are also very, I would say, private. It's kind of a cultural thing, I would say. They're very private about their personal health, any kind of work-related questions. They're very tight-lipped about it. So yeah, I depended a lot on the Toe River Valley volunteers, and so definitely, going back and pulling out tax records also, and kind of just digging through on my own. And so yeah, it was definitely hard work, and and it was over.
Wow. Do you guys have any last question? Well, thank you very much for your interview. It was really interesting to learn all about quartz mining.
Good. I hope it was helpful, and thank you guys for being interested in it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Bye.
Bye.